Hi, Steve.
I just got your text.
Here, your gizmo.
Thank you.
I almost like throw it in the garbage.
I'm glad I sent you the text. See it? Yeah, Wait. Are you live now?
We're like that.
And this is under Sean's?
Sean pro page now. Sean has come on.
Sean.
Haraska Morgan. Type Haraska space. Haraska. Yeah.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
If you don't get that answer, you're good. You're gonna look good. You're gonna look good. Right? You're gonna look good. Wait, so was it just that that I was not there. Me, personally, I know myself.
I've been trying to get Charlie to do it for years,
MY, how are you? Good to see you.
See you, Jerome. Tony. Hey, is there anything I can mention that's coming up for you, card-wise?
Eastern States this weekend. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a 3-day event. Labor Day weekend, Saturday,
Eastern
Sunday,
State
Monday.
Championship?
Yeah. And then the NYC A-Board Championships is pretty much full.
Okay.
We only have a couple of spots left in the upper divisions.
And the April
NYC A-Board Championships, October 19 and 20. Well, Dr. Michael Fedak was putting up
All right, guys. Michael Yednak here, about to watch this great match with Tony Robles and Steve Lipsky. Definitely two of the strongest players in New York, especially concerning straight pool. Just going to do a quick thanks to Amsterdam Billiards, Jacoby Custom Cues, Predator Products, and Kamui Products. Also do a quick shout out to High Rock Store, www.3cushioncues.com. Please reach out to that for products concerning Molinari. And we're getting started here with the lag. And let's see how this bodes. Looks like Tony Robles won, so Steve's going to do the opening break. Yes. Free table time for 2 hours. Just so you guys know, Tony Robles has a couple key things coming up. The Eastern State Championship is August 31st through the 2nd. That's this coming weekend. New York City 8-Ball Championship is October 19th through the 20th. Him and Kevin Clark are trying to arrange a match coming up. That'll be for some friends of Tony's. Probably an exhibition match of straight pull, maybe a race to 150, maybe 300, something of that nature. And the proceeds will go, I'll let Tony talk about that on his website, but just check out Tony's Facebook page, and he's got some things on that with Kevin Clark and Tony Robles. He's got an exhibition with Earl Strickland, October 25th, and a straight pull clinic coming up this Friday, September 6th. And let's see how Tony does here. Almost executed a perfect break shot. The 1 ball went right back into place. The 5 ball leaked out a bit. Tony's going to look at this 13 ball, see if he can pocket the 5, get position on the 13, open up the stack. For those of you new to straight pool, what Steve was trying to do was get the 1 ball to hit the short rail, come back, and the 5 ball to hit the long rail and come back to the stack. The 1 ball did exactly what it was supposed to do. The 5 ball leaked out a little bit. And he was also trying to leave the cue behind or back in the upper left corner, preferably frozen on the rail. I might have inverted those 2 balls. Steve's lefty, so he actually broke the other way. But Tony came with quality shot in the 5 ball, natural position on the 13. He's going to have to go through the rack here. So he's going to hit this with top right, I believe, and make sure he gets through the rack. So this will be a long stroke. We should see a great power stroke from Tony's right hand, meaning he'll pull the cue ball all the way back as far as he can and follow through as far as he can while still maintaining accuracy and pocketing the 13. This is what most players would call a power stroke. Now he's looking like he's using a draw stroke, so he's trying to come off the 11, hit the long rail, and come back out. Now he still used left English there. He might have been a little more favorable to use right English there instead and go back towards the middle of the table. But he's got a shot in the 1 and a shot in the 6. I actually like the 6 a little better myself, but let's see what Tony picks. Okay, so he's attacking the 6 ball. He'll have either the 8 or 11 as insurance here. And Tony's one of the rare players that actually likes to keep balls up table for a key ball. So he may keep the 8 ball up table for a potential key ball later on. But he may have to use it to get position on this 15. I think that's what he's opting to do, is to go ahead and eliminate the 8 ball, make it a half table game, get on the 15. He'll use the 3 as insurance in the side after he breaks open the stack with the 15 ball. He'll try to hit the 2 ball dead square and alleviate the 4, 9, 12, 10, and 7. Okay, he hit the 7 instead of the 2. Just as good, and he's probably going to have to use that 3 ball, like I said, as his insurance, unless he can see the 9 ball or the 2 ball. The 2 ball might go between the 10 and the 12 in the lower right corner as we're looking. The reason he's choosing the 2 over the 3 is because he jacked up on the 3. But the 2 ball is a little easier to negotiate and a higher percentage shot. Probably play position on the 11 next. Now, as soon as he gets rid of the 1 and 14, I believe the 7, 4, 9 all go in the lower left corner. So, although it looks a bit congested, he's got a lot of wiggle room once he gets rid of the 1 ball. So, probably go 11-1. At the moment, the 10 ball looks like his ideal break shot, unless he can develop the 7 ball with the 4 ball. Now, if he gets rid of the 14, all balls will have pockets. Now, he could also push the 10 into a better break position here. I think he got perfect on the 4 to push the 7 out for an ideal break shot. He's got the 3s, his key ball. And this should be 10, 9, 12, 3 for his last 4 balls before the break shot, which will be the 7. And a beautiful pattern and well executed there. On the 12 ball, he'll probably swing 2 rails towards the predator chalk there on the right side of the table, and try to get straight in on the 3 ball so he can stop shot. And I like top inside here. If he's got too much angle, he'll just come 1 rail. Okay, top inside was the play. Now you can either stop it or go to the rail and come back, depending on how straight he got in on the street. Beautiful out by Tony. Current score is 14-0. Guys, thanks for watching. You're here live at Amsterdam Billiards. We're sweating Tony Robles, playing Steve Lipsky. I'll do a quick shout out to Steve's family. Gina and Olivia are probably watching at home, maybe not. Maybe they're eating dinner or doing something else, but beautiful family Steve has. And Tony's checking out where he's going to hit the stack off the 7. Generally speaking, if you're parallel to the cue, if the cue and the 7 are parallel to the rail, you can use top or draw. If the cue is slightly to the right of where it is now, you would use draw. And if the cue is slightly to the left, you'd be forced to use follow. He's kind of in a position where he has choice. I do believe he's going to use a follow shot on this. He's got a good distance where the cue will definitely arc forward, so he doesn't have to worry about any scratches, and he can hit it with a little more pace. I personally like to use top outside or top left from Tony's perspective on this shot. Okay, he almost got a little bad kiss there. But I think he's going to be all right. I think he has a shot on the 14 on the side or the 5-1 combination. Obviously, the 14 the side's higher percentage, so that's going to be his immediate go-to. He might even be able to push the 11 out for another break shot. Only if he has insurance, though, would he do that. The insurance would be the 8 ball, which is a little demanding, so it sort of depends on how Tony's feeling. Okay, so the 12 was a little lower than the cue ball, so it got pushed down instead of across. He could still make the 9 a potential break shot if he gets the right angle on the 11 to push the 9 out to the right side of the table. He does have several balls that could be used as key balls. Also, he could use the 3 balls a break shot, which is what he was sort of looking at there. To get on the 3 ball, he'd want to hold on to the 8 for a good key ball to get on the 3. The 6 ball is also a potential break shot. So although it looks a little, I'll say, unique, this rack, he's got a lot of options to still develop break shots or use what's already there. Okay, I believe he was trying to tickle the 5 there. I'm not sure. But if he moved the 5 over, he had the 1 or the 5 for his next shot. Instead, he's on the 12. I'd be a little surprised if he shoots the 8 because he's jacked up over a couple shots. I think he's going to go with the 12. Maybe try to go into the 5 again, alleviate that little problem. He could also play a combo on the 5-1, which is a very high percentage shot. So he's not really in trouble here. He's opting to play the 8 ball. I'm slightly surprised, but that means he's going to get rid of the 4 and the 3 here. It might be good for Tony to go 3, 4, and play the 5-1 combination and hold for the 6 ball for his break shot. He's a little thin on this, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to take the 3 out right away. Okay, he was able to hold the cue for the 3. Okay, he's playing position on the 11. He's going to push the 9 out for a better break shot, and now the 12 is insurance. And that means that the 11 goes by the 1. I didn't see it that went by the 1, but it must, or else he wouldn't have played the position he played. Now he can't focus too much on the 9. He has to focus more on the 11 here and just rely on his speed of the stroke to push the 9 in proper position. Okay, good shot by Tony. He has either the 12 or the 1. This combo's not that bad, and if he plays the 1, the 5 ball is going to push the cue down, so he's going to have to use English to hold the cue up. And he might be a little awkward on his next shot, which I think he's going to play the 6, play position on the 5, use the 5 to get on the 10, and then use the 12 as his key ball. So 6, 5, 10, 12, 9 is what I'm saying, using the 9 ball as the break shot. So 6, 5, 10, 12, 9. Now there are a couple scratches he had to look out for there. He was worried about the side, and he was a little worried about the other side in the corner. Now he hit it perfectly, but an amateur could easily scratch on that shot or miss the 6. So Tony executed it flawlessly. He's going to have good shape on the 10. He'll get rid of the 10, and then he'll use the 12 ball as his key ball. I lied, and this is I think a little bit preference, but also the 10 is on the same side as the 9, so it's probably a better key ball than the 12 ball. 12 ball he's crossing the path of the 9 position, whereas the 10 ball he'll be going into the line. So 10 ball is a better key ball. I was thinking the 10 is a little more of a concern, and he's thinking of it more as an advantage. So smart play by Tony, probably why he runs hundreds a little more frequently than other players. So all you watching should sort of take note of that last pattern, because that was a little deceptive. And I do believe Tony played that with the highest percentage using the 10 ball as his key ball. Now this is center outside, or a little bit of low outside. I like center outside because I can judge the swerve of my cue very well by using straight center. If you use low outside, the swerve might be a little less easy to judge. So this is left English. And rather than trying to judge that. He went a 3-rail path, which will leave him a super steep angle on this break shot. Now, the good thing about this, if he makes the 9, the rack will explode. The bad thing about it is the pocketing percentage drops a little bit because he's aiming off the ball. This is definitely cuttable, and this is definitely, he could play it safe here if he doesn't like the cut. It's right on the cusp as to whether this is a makeable cut. I might just go ahead and freeze him on the stack and play a follow shot in the 9 and play a safety, especially against the caliber of a guy like Steve Lipsky, which he did. And I don't think the 10 leaked out for Steve. So I believe Steve's going to play a safety back. If the 10 goes, Steve will fire, though. And Steve nonchalantly approaching the table. Looks like the 10 does go. He's got to go around the whirl and get position on the 9 ball in the lower right corner. So this will be a center right. And he'll try to swing around that back corner. And a perfect shot by Steve. He'd like to be off the rail here if possible. He'll use top outside here, so top left. Make sure he gets back to the center of the table. Now, since he's close to the rail, he might not use as much left as he'd like. He might just use straight top, but then you got to get a little lucky for position. I think if he can use a little outside, he'll be guaranteed a shot. Okay. I think he used straight top, and that's why he didn't slaughter it. And he's able to get on the 7. He can follow for the 14 as a secondary break shot, or he can play position for the 4 and the other ball on the left side. Looks like the 15 ball. Okay, he likes his position on the 14, using the 14 as a secondary break shot instead of the 15. So he's just going to float up a little bit, create a nice angle on the 14 to go into the 5. And the reason he's choosing this over the other break shot is because he'll have insurance with the 4 ball in the side or corner after he makes his shot. Now, you see if all else failed, he still had the 4, and that was intentional. He did use follow on that, so he did go forward as opposed to a stun shot right into the top of the ball. What can happen with the stun shot is sometimes you scratch in the side or you get a funny roll, so I think he used follow sort of to control the cue a little better and make sure that he exploded the rack and went into the bottom rail, preventing scratches. Now, ideally, he would keep the 3 as a potential break shot, but Steve's the master of using secondary break shots as opposed to the standard break shot. So he's going to go ahead and use the 3 to get rid of his problem balls, which is the 13, 8, 6. Maybe he could push the 12 out now with the low outside. Just like that. And if it's high enough, he can use the 4 as a key ball to the 12. If it's not high enough, he still has the 2 balls a break shot, but I think he ended up well. Now, most straight pull players think of the balls in groups. So since Steve's on this side of the table, he's going to take out all these balls underneath the 12 ball, meaning the 2, the 8, and then he's going to make it a half table game. Now, since there's no ball leading to the 4, I don't think he'll use the 4 as a key ball. Usually you would leave the side pocket, 4 ball as your key ball, but he might use the 11 or the 1, and I really think he'll use the 1. So what I see is the most natural pattern is 4. Looks like 4, 5, 11, 1. Or 4, 5, 1, 11. I do prefer the 1. And what I mean by that is I would go 5, play the 11, stay on the left side of the table, so that when I pocketed the 1, I could be on the left side of the 1. Then I'm coming into position without crossing the line. So this is 5, 11, and then 1 in the opposite pocket. Now Steve might play to the right side of the 1, but I like playing the left side of the 1 myself. Okay, so he saw the same pattern. And now he can use the rail and come right into the line, and he'll try to hit just above the side pocket with outside English. Softly. Yeah, perfect position, perfect pattern by Steve, and a great break shot coming up. Now if you notice, again, he's pretty parallel to this 12 ball, so the 12 and the cue are almost parallel to the rail, so he's kind of got choice. He can use draw or follow. As long as he can hit the stack with follow, I suspect he'll use follow. But if there's a little question as to whether he'll hit the stack, he'll use draw on this shot, and he's got both options because of his quality position of the cue ball. This 12 ball is a little low, so I suspect he's going to draw this ball. With the distance he has from the object ball, he might not get enough draw to clip the 9. So I'm suspecting he's going to use a draw stroke, but he might try to hit the 10 ball instead with follow. Okay, he was able to get into the stack. And he's got a good shot in the 6. Just a quick scan of the balls. The 4 ball is a good potential break shot. 2 balls a good potential break shot. 5, 10, and 15 are all potential break shots, even the 14 ball. If he does use the 4 as a break shot, he'll want to get rid of the 8 in either 3 or 13 and use one of those 2 balls as key ball. Now this is a little dangerous here on the 8 ball. He wants to make sure he gets position and place position for a specific shot. He chose the 10 ball. He can follow up for the 14. And he'll want to make sure he has angle on the 14 because he doesn't want to get straight. Okay, he chose to get underneath the ball. Now I'll probably come up, and he could brush the 7 or go into the 7. He's got the 15 or the 9 as insurance. He doesn't need to go into the balls, but it might just control the cue ball a little more. Okay, so Steve got a little too much draw there. He's still okay. I believe he has the 2 in the corner. Or maybe a dead combination on, I say dead, but he may have a combination on the 2-3 or the 2-13. He lost his cue ball a little there, though. Now what he could do is he could thin the 1 and put the cue ball frozen on the 5. That would be a good safety. He might be playing a shot that I don't see off the moment. Okay. It's a great shot by Steve. He saw the carom shot off the 5 into the 15, knowing that he was going to be left long in his next shot. He's just going to focus on putting a quality stroke on whatever he decides. I believe it's going to be the 11 ball up table. Okay, so the 11 ball was a little blocked by the 7, so he chose the 4 ball. And the problem with the 4-ball is collision-induced throw and actual throw that you want to put on the ball come into effect. So I'm not sure if Steve tried to throw it into the pocket or if he tried to play it and put a little bit of English to compensate for a collision-induced throw. But those are very hard to judge, and those are shots that I particularly don't like myself playing straight pull. And I spend a lot of time working on those to try to understand how the cue ball and the object ball are going to react over that distance, because the line is not necessarily true. And what I mean by that is you can have English induced by the cut, and you can have English induced by your cue ball onto the object ball, which causes different angles that the object ball takes. So although that may look like an easy shot and a high percentage shot, it was a difficult shot to judge. Tony steps to the table with a pretty good scenario. I think he'll use the 7-ball as a break shot. I think he'll go 9-2, 11, 7, 4 if he can hold position on the 2 off the 9-ball. I like 9-2, 11, 1, 4, and using the 4-ball as my key ball. And you see the parallel line off the 4 go straight in line with the 7-ball, so that's why he would keep the 4-ball as his key ball. Obviously, if he overhits the ball, he can change his pattern. Meaning if he got on the wrong side of the 2, he could draw into the 11 and then use the 1, and then the 11 to get back to the 4. Looks like he got good, though. He'll play the 11 next. And he'll make sure he gets to the left side of the 1, so he can come 1 or 2 rails up towards the 4. And he's using top inside, so he's coming 1 rail. And notice doesn't seem to be any concern with the distance because the 4 is so close to the rail. I actually do like to use a little inside English just because I get a half ball hit if I'm coming from the second diamond towards the 7. So I use a little bit inside here. Yeah, right now he's got a half ball hit all the way down towards the 7 ball. Very natural position, well executed by Tony. And notice that Steve's position on that previous inning got a little funny, which made him take a carom shot, which he executed very well. But he knew he was going to have a tough shot after the carom, so you need to come with too many tough shots to continue the run. He just wasn't able to execute the 4-ball up in the upper left corner, or the 3-ball. And this is, this is a direct half ball hit on the 7, so he'll hit this with the top ball. And the rack should have the same energy that he puts on the 7. So however hard he wants to hit the 7, have that same energy on the rack, which is pretty explosive. This should open up nicely for him, as long as he racked himself a good rack. This is top outside English again, so top left. And you notice after the rack, he's got maybe 2 balls touching each other, so that's the benefit of getting that nice angle on the break shot. He's a little unfortunate to be all the way back up table. There's always a scratch in that lower left corner where he is now. He might have took a little off to allow the cue ball to take a little more angle, but he's got to come with a tough shot here, probably the 13 ball since it's the closest to the pocket and biggest aim point. Play position on the 1 or the 4 or the 8. Now we can draw for position on the 14, open up that little cluster with follow-off shape on the 1 after, or he can pull back and address that little situation later. Now, he may have the wrong angle to miss the 1 on the follow shot. He may have to draw it, in which case he could play position on the 14 and open it up and play position for the 1 as insurance. The 3 ball also opens it up, so maybe he'll attack this some other way. Yeah, it looks like he opted for the 3 ball to open it up. He's got the 2 as his break shot, 12 ball as a key ball, or the 6 ball. Now he's going to eliminate the 11 because it's a pretty useless shot. He's good on it, so he'll take the 11 out, get a similar angle on the 3, and then attack the stack. He's trying to decide whether he wants to take the 3 now or take it in a minute. He thinks he's a little thin on the ball and that he might miss the 5 and hit the 4 instead. So he's going to try to get a little thicker on the 3, and he'll use the 11 to do that. This is probably follow with a touch of left English or outside English. Just try to get a little thicker on this 3 ball. Okay. He double crossed me a little there. Like I said, the 6 ball is a little useless. The 15 ball or the 12 ball is a little better key ball for the 2. So he might use the 6 to come down, get rid of the 14, and then attack the 3 to go into those 3 balls, having the 10 or the 9 as his possible next shot. Now he looks like he's playing position on the 4 ball. Maybe the 10 goes, so maybe he's going 4, 10, 14, 5, 9. Yeah, the 10 must go. I suspect he's going to stun off this or draw off this, make sure he has shape on the 12 minimum. Okay, now the pattern opened up really nicely. Now he's probably going to play a little different, but I like 5, 9, 14, 12. He's going to do something a little different. He's got so many options here, though, it really doesn't matter. That's why I kind of like taking the 9 or the 5 first in that previous inning. But he's all right. He can go 9, 5, and then get on the 12. Okay, he got too far on the 5 twice. I bow out here, and I play the 12, and I play position on the 5 in the side and come across table using the rails to slow me down. He's going to maintain that. Yeah, I think he was thinking of banking the 5 just to maintain that key ball, 12 ball, because it's so juicy, but he opted out of it, and I think that's the wise choice. Now, if he got bad, he can just draw into the stack, but I think he's on the right angle to go 2 rails towards the position he wants on the 2 ball. 1, 2, maybe 3 rails. Yeah, he chose the 3-rail route. And he got very thick on this ball, which means that he's probably going to draw this ball, and he's going to have to slaughter it. So I look for him to do a power draw on this shot, sort of like a Thorsten Homan or a John Schmidt. In this particular shot, I may be wrong. Maybe he can clip the 7 with follow, but I think he's going to draw this based on the position of the cue ball. And this is one of those scenarios where he's a little thicker on the 2, so he doesn't have much energy on the cue unless he creates the energy. But this to me is a power draw shot. Okay, now he used follow, and the only thing I didn't like about the follow was that I didn't think I could generate enough energy to get balls out. Whereas the draw stroke, he might have seen a scratch. He might have seen a scratch off the draw and opted out. Or maybe he just doesn't like that shot. He likes to control the rack a little better and play low more school, knowing that he can play safeties and try to outmove Steve. I got to tell you, Tony, Steve, Danny Baruti all play exceptional safety games. So when this scenario comes out, Tony's aware of his opponent and how strong he is and knows that he has to play a quality safety here on Steve, or else Steve's going to play just as good as him as far as moves. I think he's trying to play the, looks like the end ball there to the rail. Looks like the 4-ball leaked out on him for the side pocket. A big opportunity for Steve Lipsky. What's up, Kurtzy? Got Steve Kurtz sweating the match. Thanks for watching, Steve. Steve's looking for a secondary break shot. The only thing I see that seems reasonable is the 10 ball in the side or the corner with the 7 ball's insurance. Preferably the 10 ball on the side, but he can't get there, so he'll probably use the 10 ball in the corner and try to go right into that pocket of the 5, 6, 9, and 14. And as long as he's not straight on this ball, he can go into those balls and get the little bit of opening that he needs to help out the stack. But if he's straight, he'll have to get there off the 13 ball. Now Steve could glance to 5, or he could play a little more deliberate and wait. He chose to glance to 5. And wasn't quite able to execute the shot. He did open up enough to the stack to where he would have been able to run out had he pocketed the 13, because the 8 came out and the 14 ball is a secondary break shot. But wasn't able to put that down, so now Tony's going to try to get on this 14 eventually to open up this stack. And by eventually, I mean in 1 or 2 shots. Looks like he's on the 10 or 7 to get onto the 14 next. Now, if the 12 is dead off the 9, he could go ahead and shoot the 12 in the corner. I myself would shoot the 10 first and then the 14 and open him up with that, and I have insurance on the 5 or the 7. And I think Tony sees the percentages the same way. Now he's going to try to hit the 6 thickly and open up the 9, 11, 15 priority. Okay, he did exactly what I said. And he has the 7 as insurance, but he's going to go ahead and use the 15 that came out in the open. And he might play the 15, the 6, and then push the 12 out to make it a little further from the stack so he has a little more options. Now he could use the 5 to push it out as well. But he could use the 6 or the 5, 5 in the side, or the 6 in the corner to push the 12 out a little bit. Could also just accept it. That's not a bad break shot where it is now. I personally just always like my my break shot a little further from the stack, because then I have much more I can manipulate with it. Now it's time for him to sort of decide the pattern. And what I like here, and I'll see if, no, Tony's going to double cross me. He's not using the 12, which makes me believe he's going to use the 1 instead. But what I like here is 11, 3, 7, 13, and then using the 1 as the break shot. So that tells me that Tony likes a lower break shot as opposed to a higher break shot, because he had position on either break shot and he chose the 1 over the 12. That ball bobbled in a little bit, so Tony's going to take a little more time next time he uses his extension. Make sure he really dials into the aim point. He's perfect on the 7 to get the right angle on the 13. And he's going to want to stop shot on the 13. He doesn't want to go further to the left here. He wants to be more in the center of the table because the 1 ball's lower on the stack. He wants to be more towards the center. If the 1 ball is higher on the stack, then he'll probably want to favor the side pocket a little more. Perfect position for the break shot, which shows that he played a nice pattern to get there. And both guys are putting on a little clinic here. Tony's been a little more favorable and the ability to maintain the run. All right, this is definitely a draw shot from my perspective. And again, in this particular situation, I would draw back to the short rail and back out. This is low. He could use either English here. I'm a little surprised he went forward there. I think maybe he hit the bottom of the ball, and that's why he went forward. What I see, he may have to play the 11 in the side. Unless there's a dead ball, maybe the 5 ball's dead, or maybe the 3 ball clears. It doesn't look like the 5's dead now that I see the screen. I think the 11 ball on the side is the, or the 7 in the side is the shot I see, but the 3 must have a window with a view between the 12 and 5 ball. And it did. Good read by Tony. And a quality shot. Now I might go ahead and play the 14 here and come back to where I am, where I have the 12 or the 2. It looks like all those balls go, so I'm not in any huge hurry to get on them. But the 14's a little bit more congestion than I like in that area. But if I did take that out, I am eliminating a potential future break shot. So maybe that's why Tony opted to hold on to it a little longer. And the reason why I'm saying potential break shot is he could develop that 14 ball or the 7 ball. I think he's going to get on the 5 and develop the 7, though. Right, so Tony's going to develop that 7, I believe, right now, or the 14, and all the 4 balls insurance, and that's sort of what he's trying to create there, and that's why he waited on taking some of those balls out. Now, if the 14 wasn't there, it wouldn't be the end of the world as far as him having another shot, but looks like he might be playing the 14 instead of the 5. He played the 5, okay. Now he might have took out his 4 ball, and if he did, he could always back out and play the 8 or the 12 as a break shot and shoot the 7 ball now. But he still has options. He could play the 9, he could play the... He basically has the 9 or the 7. He also has the 14 ball. I think I personally would shoot the 9 before the 14, but that might be a personal preference. The good thing about shooting the 14 is he does probably go into the 15 and alleviate that little problem there. He got it in. It wobbled a little bit, but he got it in. Now, if he shoots the 7, then he's going to use the 8 or the 12 as a break shot, and probably. I actually like the 8 ball slightly more than the 12 ball, and using the 12 ball as a key ball. But if he does that, he's got to get rid of this 15 ball as quickly as possible. I think he's attacking it now. Now what he's doing here is he's maintaining 2 options. He's got the 8-12 as key ball break shot, and he's got the 14-7 as key ball break shot. And once he gets rid of this 4 ball, he'll have to decide which break shot he's going to use. I kind of feel like he's left this 4 ball a little long, and I get a little anxious when I have a ball, a problem situation like the 15-4, and only like 4 or 5 balls on the table. I feel like I should have adjusted earlier. But as long as he can get on this, see, the 14 ball is a better key ball. But I'm not sure if he's thick enough on this 15 to get to the 14. What he could do is try to get to the left side of the 14, where he's pointing his cue, and then he can swing around the 7. And this is low outside or low left. Now if he gets straight, he can draw it straight back. If he has enough angle, he can go 1 rail out, or he can go 2 rails around the 7. The preferred route is 2 rails. And quality decision making there, and able to execute the pattern flawlessly, even though there were a couple tricky situations there. Pattern flawlessly, even though there were a couple tricky situations there. I got the great Alex Masucci tickling my ear in the background. Sweet talking me like usual. Guys, thanks so much for watching this stream. Always grateful to be a part of this. Watching great players or playing against great players, in this case commentating. Sometimes I get to play. Tony's going to hit this with top, and probably not any English in this case, just to make sure he pockets this ball. This is a very thin cut. The top should arc it towards the short rail like it did, and put him in position to do some serious damage. Now he does have a small cluster with the 8, 10, and 12 after that break shot. With that angle, you're usually not having any clusters after the break shot, but he has a couple clusters here to deal with. And no immediate break shot as we look at the table. 14 balls possible with the 15 balls insurance. 13 balls possible. But he's really got to get into that stack and then reevaluate how he's going to attack the rest of the rack. If he can get on this tree, he could go on it directly. I wasn't able to get on it with the 3, so he might end up using the 5 and trying to come up for the 14, then using the 14 ball to open him up. So use that 14 ball sort of as a free shot to go ahead and go into the stack, maybe develop something pushing a potential break shot with either the 5, 10, or 6. None of them actually came out. So now he's forced to either cut the 13 or cut the 5, or maybe even the 12 in the side. Now, I think he's going to go ahead and cut the 13, and if he skips the 10, then the 10 will be his break shot. But if he hits it too thick, he'll probably destroy all of them. Hit it a little too thick, but I think the 12 ball might be out. And if the 12 ball's out, he'll use that as his break shot. He's scrutinizing over that right now to see if it's a break shot or not. And Joe, the manager, is leaving the house. Eric Carrasco is now taking over. If he shoots the 12, then he still has to create a break shot, possibly using the 15 or the 4, or using the 10 ball that he just created. So quality shot by Tony. Now he can play the 6 in the upper left corner. I kind of like the 9 ball as my key ball over the 4 ball. The 4 ball makes my break shot a little steep. But if he has a good key ball to get on the 4, I would change my mind. Maybe 4-3. I like the 4-3 as my last 2 balls, or the 9 ball. (15-6) isn't bad either, but I think he's going to shoot the 6 now. I do know some guys are interested in potentially watching the John Schmidt high run. I know he's in the works of trying to get some things together for that, so we'll keep on the lookout for that and let you guys know when that's a possibility. Also, as I mentioned, Tony has a couple big things coming up with Earl Strickland and Kevin Clark, so keep your eyes out for those 2 opportunities. Maybe you'll get to see a good showing from that. And I believe Tony has a clinic coming up soon in straight pull. Anyone that appreciates straight pull should check that out. What looks like Tony's going to do here is 2, 9, 15, 4, 10. He's straight on the 15, so he could opt out, but I think he's going to go 9, 15, 4. Only because he can get pretty straight in on the 15 and get straight in on the 4, and then he can pull the cue ball back a little bit on the 4, making the shot a little easier. Yeah, he was able to pull back a hair, which almost made this a half ball hit. He's aiming just a sliver off the edge of the ball, so this is a very makeable shot. And Tony's off to the races here. I'm not sure what his current run is, but I think we have it up. Assisted here by Pascal. Pascal, where's the high run? The current high run?
So Tony has a run of 40.
He's on a run of 40 right now?
Yeah, so you see the number here.
Right, that makes sense.
And the plus means it's ongoing. He also has
gotcha.
a 28, a 23, and Steve has a 20.
All right.
These are what you see is all the runs above 10 balls on this row.
Okay. Okay, so this is a top ball hit again, and this is either top outside if Tony prefers it, or just straight top. And we saw the first break ball miss. uncharacteristic by Tony. And we're going to take a brief break, guys. I'm going to do a quick shout-out to my friends. Guys, if you guys are interested in buying some billiard equipment, please check out Ira Lee's High Rock store at www.3cushioncues.com. You're watching this match via Alaska Sean Morgan and Pascal Dufresne putting on this live stream with commentary by Michael Yednak. Thanks for having us, guys. They should commence here shortly. Again, we just took a brief break, probably 5 to 10 minutes max. Also do a quick shout out to Jacoby Custom Cues, Predator Products, and Kamui Products. We're here live at Amsterdam Billiards. And this is a Pascal production. Pascal Dufresne production. And I mentioned some dates earlier, but I'll mention them again. We do have the Eastern State Championship coming up here August 31st through the 2nd. The New York City 8-Ball Championship is October 19th through the 20th. Kevin Clark and Tony Robles will be doing a exhibition match here to raise some funds for a charity event. Please look at Tony Robles' website or Kevin Clark's website concerning that. Earl Strickland and Tony Robles will be playing October 25th here at Amsterdam Billiards. And Tony is also giving a clinic here, a straight pull clinic here, Friday, September 6th. If you guys are interested, Tony does play with Predator equipment. Steve Lipsky, who's been a fan of Schoen for a long time, plays with the Schoen Custom Cue. You guys can reach out to Danny Berruti, actually, as one of his Schoen's major, how do I put that, team members. So Danny Berruti, you can reach out to Schoen if you want to get it, or you can reach out to Danny Berruti if you're interested in Schoen equipment. Again, if you're interested in Predator equipment or Molinari equipment, you can reach out to either Tony Robles or Ira Lee, High Rock Productions. I think it's called High Rock Store, actually, if you look online. And that's www.3cushioncues.com. Back to the match here. Steve Lipsky has returned. Yeah, guys, I'm going to let Sean speak to you guys for a moment. I'll be right back.
Hi, all. I just wanted to thank you all for tuning in here at Amsterdam Billiards. What a great matchup you're watching. Tony Robles, Steve Lipsky. I just had a good match with Zion's V. I appreciate you watching that match and tuning in for that match as well. I'd like to thank Pascal Dufresne and Michael Yednak for both being here and help making this happen. This is a really good thing we got going on here. Just so everybody knows as well, me and Michael Yednak do get private lessons out of here at Amsterdam Billiards. You can reach us direct message through Facebook if you're interested in lessons, private lessons, and we'll get back with you on that. And looks like they're commencing. Enjoy the match, rest of the match. Thank you all.
Thanks so much, Sean. Appreciate that. Guys, Sean's a great teacher, and I enjoy teaching as well. Please reach out to us. Back to this match. Steve's hitting the 6 and playing position on the 4 while opening up the 9 cluster and developing a break shot. Quality shot by Steve. If he can get rid of the 15, he'll get rid of that now. Otherwise, he'll attack the 4 and then get rid of the 15 later. Immediately looking at problems, he really wants to get rid of the 15, the 1, and sort of clear out the balls by the 5 for his break shot. He also has the 7 ball, and the 8 ball is a key ball if he wants to go ahead and shoot on the other side. Right, good shot by Steve. He has either the 4, the 9, or the 5. I do suspect he's going to try to hold on to the 5 unless he wants to use the 7 as a break shot. And we'll know if he goes ahead and shoots the 5 ball, because that'll mean that he'll abandon ship and hold on to the 7 as his break shot instead of the 5. Okay, he's got the 8 ball as well, and that's a very high percentage, so he's going to go ahead and get rid of that. And he still has the 14 ball as a potential insurance ball. Or key ball if he wants to use the 7 ball as his break shot. So a lot of choices here. 3 ball is his key ball for the 5 ball. If he does play the 11, I wouldn't be surprised if he played 11-1, but he's looking at the 9. I personally would get rid of the 1 as quickly as possible. He's a little close to the rail, which makes the 1 a little bit of a back cut. And he is opting to go ahead and shoot the 9 or 12 here. Probably play position for the 13 ball soon. Yeah, I think he got on this 13 ball, which the 13 and the 1 ball are his two small problems. Now, if he takes out the 5, which it looks like he is, that to me suggests that he's going to use the 14, but I think he's got the 1. Okay, he does have the 1, so the 5 is still a potential break shot. Just for those of you looking, the 4 ball is also a potential break shot, and the 9 ball is a potential break shot. So Steve still has 4 break shots, 5, 4, 9, and 1. He's about to eliminate the 4. I do see a potential run out pattern if he gets rid of the 9 soon. Something like 14, 9, 7, 2, 3 is a beautiful pattern. Using the 5 ball as the break shot. I think that's the easiest and least cue ball movement pattern. 14, 9, 7, 2, 3. Almost a stop out. Now what I think Steve's going to do is go 7, 2, 9 and get straight on the 9 in the upper left corner, and then do a stop shot in the 9, and then use the 3 as his key ball. Okay, obviously Steve's taking a different route. He's going to go 3-9 and play the 5 ball as his break shot. Trying to get straight on the 9 so he can do a stop shot in the 9 or pull back a little bit ideally. And I think he got really solid here. Ideally, he'd like to get parallel to the 5 and the rail if possible. Got very good on this break shot, and Steve's off to the races. Now I know Steve's back a little bit in this match, but this is nothing. Whoever's at the table is always favored in straight pull, especially with someone that plays as high quality as Steve Lipsky or Tony Robles. So Tony missed that last break shot, so this whole rack went to Steve. He's on a run of 14 with a quality break shot. He's a little thick on this, so I actually think he's going to draw this ball, but he has choice. He could follow it. The standard for a lot of the modern players is to draw this ball back to the short rail and out. Steve could follow this. It's really personal preference here. He drew it back to the short rail and out. He's going to end up with a shot in the 9, the 10, or the 12. He might even have the 13-1 combination, which solves the problem and creates a break shot. If this is locked, then he should have the 13 ball as a break shot. All right, so Steve unfortunately missed that combination shot. Danny, thanks for checking in. So Tony used draw on that shot, which kept him from getting in trouble, possibly scratching off a ball or something. And with the draw, he could control the cue nicely. He had two key balls, the 14-11 there. And he's looking at either the 4-ball or 7-ball as his break shot. 13-ball is a little problematic. But the 13-1 would be a nice pattern to get on the 7 for his last 2 balls, assuming the 6 weren't there. But let's see what Tony decides to do from here. Like I said, he's got multiple break shots, the 14, the 4, the 7. I suspect he'll get rid of the 14 soon and stick with the 7 or 4 since he's got multiple key balls for those 2 balls. $15 balls a little problematic, 2 balls a little problematic, but 2 balls a good key ball to the 7 or the 4. As soon as he gets rid of this 15 ball, he'll have a lot of options. Now the 4 does get to the 15, which gets to the 2, so I really think he's going to keep the 7 as his break shot. But let's see what Tony does. He could get rid of the 6 right now. But he's attacking the 15, I think. Yeah. This 15 is his last problem. Now he could go over for the 13 if he wanted, or pull back for the 3 or the 12. Looks like he's pulling back for the 12. Came a little close. Sorry. Little cameo from some customers. Tony's not phased. He seems a little frustrated. I'm not sure if he overspun that or what his situation here. But I kind of like personally leaving the 3 as my key ball. So what I would do here is play the 12, try to get on the 1 or the 6, get rid of the 13, use the 1 to get to the 2, and then the 2 to get to the 3-ball key ball for the 7-ball break shot. But you see what I was saying before, it's a 13 leads nicely to the 1. If the 3 ball's out of there, then 13-1 would be a great end pattern to get to the 7 or to get on the 2. So he's just got to decide what he's going to do. He's got a lot of options. He's eliminating the 3 ball, which means he's either going to use the 2 or the 1, I think, as his key ball. Okay, so it looks to me like 13, 1, 6, 2. 13 in the corner, 1 in the opposite side, 6. And then 2 ball as his pivot ball for the 7 ball. Okay, he's a little annoyed because he wanted to be straight on the 6 so that he could do a stop shot and then he had no issues with the 2 ball. Now he's going to have to be cautious and draw the cue ball to the long rail and back over for position. A little more movement than he'd like on the key ball to the break shot. Great speed by Tony Robles. He got right back to the middle of the table. And I believe he's currently on a 13-ball run. Steve missed the combination, which put Tony back in the match, or back at the table. Thanks everyone for watching. Oh, Joey K. Hey, bud. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Danny, hope you and the kids and the wife are well. Thanks for watching so much, guys. We really appreciate it. Back here, Tony has a thicker hit on the 7, but he's hitting the weak part of the rack, so he's got options here. He could use a stun shot, just go into it thickly and just pop off the 2 a little bit and bring it back to the middle, or he could play a little more aggressive and power this with a stun follow or a stun draw. I like a little stun shot and just opening up the rack a little bit and coming back into it a little more aggressively later, like that. Now, he's got a couple clusters to deal with, but he's got a lot of opportunities now. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls out in the open, and looks like the 11 ball is the shot I would choose to attack the rack. So I'd probably play the 5 and go into the 13 here, knowing that I'll have the 6 or the 3 ball next. Okay, Tony hit the 3 ball there. You can probably get on the 11 from here. I think he can come 2 rails back to the middle of the table and have a good shot in the 11. Tony's playing really good speed. He really seems to understand the table here. Now, he can go into those balls, and I think he has a 6 insurance. The 6 might be a little steep, and if it is, he'll go more into the 14 instead of the 4. If the 6 is a viable shot after the break, then he'll go right into the 4 ball, open up all the balls. But he might just go into the 14, open up a couple balls, and use the 8 as insurance.
I totally can. If you shoot it, stay over there if you want. I can sit in the seat. You can sit in the fucking chair if you want. I can stand in front of you if I want. But you can't stand a foot from the table. Just so you know, I know, playing here. I stopped here for 2 seconds just to watch this game. Right here, he told me I'm in the way. What did you just say? What did I say? I was standing right here. You were standing 2 feet from the table. Oh, come on.
All right, guys, we're back up here. Sorry we were out for a minute. Tony got a bad roll here, so he has a little time to analyze what he's going to do. Steve isn't on a foul. Steve missed a combination, so he's not in a foul. So Tony's going to probably take an intentional foul. I wouldn't be surprised if Tony took 15 here and just rebroke. He doesn't want to give Steve a legitimate opportunity. Now, the 8 ball in the corner, the upper right corner, is not the worst shot I've ever seen. The 1 ball does make that pocket a little bigger. And I think that's what Steve would shoot, or Tony would shoot, if they're going to shoot. Otherwise, they'll just take 14, like I said, and not take a foul. But Tony is on the first foul. Tony. Steve's opting to just go ahead and take a foul back and take away the 8 corner possibility. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they just took 15 here. And that's a strategy that a weaker player really wouldn't be willing to do. But Tony and Steve are not afraid to give up 15 balls rather than losing 100, because both these guys are very capable of running out from here. Okay, so Tony's now on 2. I believe he's going to take an intentional 15. He could try to go to the rail and freeze him back on the 8, but I think the right play really is to just take an intentional 15 here. But Tony made a legal shot. Steve has the 1 ball or the 13-6 or the 8. I believe the 8 is good. I don't think he's too close to it, so he'll go ahead and shoot the 8. And I'm a little surprised that Tony didn't go ahead and take the intentional 15. But guys, glad you're watching. Glad we're having a good showing here. This is a good opportunity for Steve. I suspect he'll make this 8 with ease. If he feels uncomfortable, he'll shoot the 1. The 13-6 doesn't look awful either, so. All right, so Steve's got the 13 ball or the 15 ball or the 8 ball. The 13 ball and 6 are a problem. The 15 ball is not, so he might go ahead and attack the 13 first. He could actually go into the 10 here and continue his run. Got a couple friends saying hi, Bill. Another friend, Steve Root, here. Okay, Steve hit that nice and softly and just did enough to open things up. I believe the 2 is out of this pack, so he could use the 2 or the 15 ball as a break shot. The 9-12 is still an issue, so he's got to address that as quickly as possible. I do believe they are playing all ball fouls here, so Steve's being very conscious of his hand placement, as he should be. Last thing he wants to do is give up the table on a foul like touching a ball. I think Steve's going to have to play the 2 ball and maybe use the 10 ball to go into those bottom 2 balls, which means he's probably going to use the 15 ball or maybe the 9 as a break shot. Now he can come underneath, hit the 9 into position or the 12 into position, and hopefully have the 14 as insurance, or he can come above. He went above. He's got the 9. He's got the 9, which unfortunately is his best break shot from where the balls lay. But he's going to have to take the 9 out. He's looking at maybe playing the 12 ball as his break shot. Great shot by Steve. Looks like 9-15, 14-12. And he just twisted the 15 out of the pocket a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tony didn't play the 14-15 combination or the 12-15 combination and try to create one of those balls in the pocket as a potential break shot. If he plays the 12-15 and can go into the 14, he could play the 14 out of the pocket and have the 12 ball as his break shot. And he'd actually hit this with top ball to prevent the 12 ball from following it in. He could also go 14-15 and then 14 and play the 12 balls as break shot, like Steve was looking at. If he was a little closer, he could actually develop the 12, but the 12 is too far away to get enough English to develop it. Okay, now he's got perfect angle on the 14 to get right back where he is on the 12, and that would be his ideal break shot. Okay, good shot by Tony. Nice pattern to maintain that 12 ball break shot. And obviously he played the best choice with what he had. If he did happen to leave one of those balls in the pocket, those are also a potential break shot. But you see some other opportunities there that Tony could have used. Obviously, with Tony's experience, we have to believe he made the right decision. Hey Gina, thanks for watching the match. Steve's been putting on a pretty good showing. He's had a couple balls that were uncharacteristic misses, but he's still playing well. It is a little humid in here, and some of the balls just haven't fallen for him. Tony's trying to clip the 7 here to continue his run. And he just missed the 7 by a sliver. And he might even scratch in the side here because he missed that 7. All right, so Steve trapped him. Tony fell right into Steve's trap. And Tony's on the first foul, so Steve probably going to take an intentional foul and just roll the cue ball up a little bit. And yeah, this takes away the one rail kick underneath. So Tony's trying to go right into the 7 lightly. Okay, good shot by Tony with the intentional foul. So with that, Tony's now on 2. So as long as nothing's dead in the stack, meaning the 5-7 doesn't go to the pocket, I think Steve can leave Tony up table. Now this is a little tricky because he doesn't want to leave Tony an easy safety off the 7, but he also doesn't want to leave Tony some crazy shot. Tony played a very good shot there because he got a couple balls off the stack, which makes it difficult for Steve to really put him in a bad spot. He's definitely going to send him up table. It's just where does he want to put him up table, really? I think Steve might be better off putting him in the corner here, but I think he's going to put him in the upper right corner. The problem with this is that Tony has the 3 ball to toy with. I think he can hit the 3 ball pretty thickly with a little bit of right English and go back towards the 13 ball and bank the 3 ball to the other side of the table. Now, Obviously, if he can't do that, then he might sell out the 12 ball for Steve. So he's got to be cautious with the shot. But I think he's got options with the 3 ball and inside English or right English, bring the cue ball back towards the stack. He wants it to have enough speed to take the 12 out, and I think Steve has a shot in the 12 in the side. It's not a very high rewarding shot, meaning Steve can make it, but there's no real future with it if he does. He might actually be better off playing a safe, but I think Steve feels like he needs to go ahead and shoot at this and I don't know, maybe go 3 rails and hit the stack underneath, but he's revising his thought process, and I don't know, the rack is a little squirrely. The 7 ball does go in the corner, and the 3 ball's out, so he's got to fend against the 7 and the 3. He's going to go ahead and try to get him 2 rails back underneath and put him on the stack, I think. Okay. He made the 3 ball on the side. Playing a safe, but now Tony has sort of the similar situation that Steve had, but the 3 ball is no longer a viable option, meaning he's not going to sell out the 3 if he misses the 12. Steve did get Tony very close to the short rail, which makes the pocketing of the 12 much more difficult. You know, Steve played a great shot there, and that's something to learn from that particular position. It had to be the right shot, because even if Tony makes the 12, I think he has to call safe. I don't think he can do anything with it. So maybe play the 12 on the side and call safe is probably the play. And rather than risk it, Tony played a safe with just a 12. Now, Steve has a lot of options with this 12 ball in the position it's in. He can thin it, put the cue ball back underneath the stack. He can bank the 12 back towards the stack. I like the cue ball instead of the 12 ball. And as long as the 3 ball doesn't go, which I don't believe it does, he just has to fend against the 7 ball up in the upper left corner. But the 7 ball, if he does move the 12, does go in that upper left corner, so he doesn't want to leave Tony that shot. Tony executed that very well, except he missed. Thought he made that ball for a second. I was looking at the screen. I saw the balls opened up. So Tony jarred the 12, trying to create energy in the stack. And now Steve's back at the table with a reasonable opportunity. The 6 ball he can use as a break shot, and the 7 ball he can use as a break shot. I might actually play the 7 in the side here instead of the 12. And just get back to the middle of the table to use the 6 ball as the break shot. But I think Steve's feeling a little more confident about pocketing the 12 instead, and playing position on the 7 balls as break shot. Sorry I missed Tony's shot, guys. I was trying to check a couple things online here, but we're back in action. I like playing the 7 and using the 6 ball as a break shot. I think Steve believes that the stack will open up a little better with the 7, or he just feels like he's going to pocket that 12 every time, as opposed to the 7 in the side. Steve strokes so far from the cue ball compared to other players. Beautiful shot though. I just missed a 7. Got the perfect angle on the 7 to cut this in and create some serious damage. Maybe the 6 ball doesn't go by the 11, and if that's the case, then that's definitely why he chose that. Because he's pushing balls towards the 6th and 11, so he's probably going to have a couple more clusters to deal with. He did hit it with the right speed to give him a lot of good opportunities here as far as eliminating problems, but you see there is some congestion with the 13, 2, and 11 that he's going to have to address, and the 14 ball blocks the 6. Right now he's got a 5 ball, I believe, unless the 1 precludes his angle, in which case he's just getting a little bit of bad rolls here. Okay, you could see Steve let his stroke out a little bit there and hit a good shot, good draw shot there. I suspect he's going to attack this situation with the 6, 14, and 13 as quickly as possible so he can get rid of that 2, 11. And I think how he's going to do is he's going to get rid of the 14 and the 13. He's going to use the 6 to open those balls up. But I want to have insurance probably with the 9 ball or one of those 2 balls. Maybe he can go into it now. I'm not sure. If he can, then the 13 is insurance. Okay, he was able to do that. He does have the 13. It's a little more demanding than he'd like, I think. But he might have the 1 up table as well. The 1's actually a good break shot, but he doesn't have really any other choice than to shoot it. I'll probably go 1-13. Once he gets on the 13 and after the shot, have a little better angle on the 13 to get back out of the mess. Steve stayed down really nicely on that shot. And he's got the 13 now, and he'll get rid of that and play position back towards the middle of the table where he can attack the either the 11 or the 8 ball or the 9. Now he used outside English there. I thought he would use a little bit inside, but he used outside English there. He does have the 6 ball, but he may have to play position for the 11 up table off this shot. I don't see a natural way to get back towards the middle. I think he's supposed to lag forward and play the 11 up table. And that's assuming he can play the 6. I don't think the 3's in the way. It's close though. Yeah, the 3 must be blocking part of the 6, or he's trying to do something to get the cue ball back up table that he doesn't like. Because he's taking a little more time than Steve usually takes. So Steve just took out all of his break shots there, except for maybe the 3 ball. And he just didn't want to accept the tough shot in the 11, I think, or potentially not being able to get position on the 11. So he opted to go ahead and play a little more aggressive, slightly more risky, but evaluated the risk and reward and thought that this was just a better option. He's looking at taking on this combo because it solves all of his problems and maintains the 3 balls as break shot. if he happens to be perfect on it, it might be the play. But if he's got to work the cue at all or do anything special, I might bow out and take the 11. Okay, great shot by Steve. I suspect he's going to go 9-10. He might use the 9 as a break shot, to be honest. But he could go 9-10, 4-11, and use the 3 ball. Or he could try to develop the 3 now, which I think is what he's doing. All right, now that's the Steve Lipsky we know and love. Great shot by Steve. If he's got the 4, he's going to take it now. If not, he's going to have to work back. I still kind of like 9-4-10. Both options are good, though.
Well, you get another chance. That's hysterical.
He might go 9-10-4. Just get rid of both balls up table and just accept that he's going to have to go around the 3 ball with the 4 ball. So he'll try to get sort of to the middle of the table and then go around 2 rails towards the middle off the 4 ball. You can see how natural the 10 was to get on the 3, though. Steve got pretty good angle on this ball. He should be able to do a lot of damage. Depending on what part of the stack he's sitting, he'll use follow. If he's sitting at the top ball, he can use follow and sort of maintain center of the table position. But if he's got to draw the ball, it's a little risky here. He would like to use follow or a stun shot on this shot, transferring as much energy as he can to the object balls. Guys, we are here live at Amsterdam Billiards. You're watching Steve Lipsky and Tony Robles. Steve Lipsky at the table currently. As you guys can see, the score is 106-53 in favor of Tony Robles. Steve Lipsky is at the table, so it's still anybody's ball game right now. And let's see if Steve can't put some numbers down against Tony. Looks like he can go right into the 6 ball with some pace. This will be a stun shot. Yeah, he went right into the 6 with some pace. He's supposed to get a good reward here, and he did. He's got the 2 ball. 5-4 is a little tied up. He's got the 7, which he can go into the stack. Now the 12 is insurance. So I suspect right away he'd probably go 2. If he can spin into the 4, he'll spin into the 4. If not, he'll come down for the 7. He'll go into the stack off the 7, but the 12 is insurance. The 6 ball is also a potential way to attack the stack. He may shoot the 6 first just to get a better angle on the balls, but I think he's opted for the 2. He went at the stack immediately. A little surprising to me, but he must have had the exact angle and knew where the ball was going. He's got the 11 as a break shot, 6 ball as a key ball, 8 ball as a key ball. The 5-4 is really his major problem.
This was his first hit out of the league. He was 15.
Guys, I'm going to slip away for 1 second. I'll be right back. guys slipped away briefly. It looks like Steve's getting work done here. I think he can go 10 and then the 1. Sorry guys, if I'm too loud, just let me know. Okay, now that's a shot that I thought Steve was going to use for the break shot, so he must like the 9 and felt like he could get better position on this 1 ball by hitting the 11 first. I'm not sure. The 5 may go by the 4 ball in the corner. I think it does, and if so, then he doesn't really have as many problems as I thought. But if it doesn't go, he can use the 10 right now to go into those, and he'd be very unfortunate not to get a shot after this. Okay, now he scraped the 14. That's why he wasn't able to go into it as he liked. But he can definitely go into it again here. This is tricky. In those situations, you would always prefer to attack it from above because he had the 15 ball or the 9 as insurance, but he had to come from underneath, so he had to get a little, let's say, a good roll as opposed to a bad roll from there. Now he went forward there, so he's playing 9-15-5 for the last 3 balls. And I like this. He drew in front of the side pocket, so he has a full cue ball. Had he stopped it, the rail would have blocked part of the cue ball visual, so he wanted to make sure he could see the full cue ball on that next break shot. So that makes the pocketing on this substantially higher, and that was just an inch or 2 of draw. So you'll see what Steve's capable of here. This is a little thinner than a half ball hit. Basically, the edge of his tip will be aimed at the 5. He can hit this with a top follow shot and should have a really good result. He could use top outside if it feels like it helps him with the pocketing, but straight top should be just as well. This is very similar to the shot Tony had. Hopefully, Steve has the 3 ball, because otherwise he's going to have to play a jacked up shot on the 15 or the 10. I believe he has the 3. He still has to play position off this ball, though. Maybe into the 6 ball, maybe into the 7. And that's what he's looking at, what's going to be my next shot after. If he doesn't have a good shot, he'll play something else. The problem with this 3 ball is he could land right back on the stack. Now, I think that playing the 3, he'll have a shot in the 10 like he has now, but he won't be jacked up. So I go ahead and shoot the 3, sort of roll my dice here on this. Knowing that I could get an easy shot or I could have a little tougher shot in the 10. And he got rewarded for the shot. He's got the 2 ball on the side now. It's a slight issue with the 6-7 and a slight issue with the 8-4. He'll want to hold the 9 to address the 4 after solving the 6-7 problem. Good shot from Steve. And I think he's going to have to play the 15 here. He would have liked to come a little closer, but I think he's got to play the 15. And he'll be over on the right side of the table. He should have either the 9 or the 11 after this shot. Okay, he landed in between, so he's got the 13. I don't think the 4 goes from where he is. But I think he's pretty straight on the 13, so he can pop the 13 in. He can drift forward or pull back. I like pocketing this, whatever is going to be the highest pocketing. All right, good shot from Steve. Like I said, the 9-ball leads to the 4 nicely. I don't think the 4 goes clean now, so he'll have to take something else. And the more ball he eliminates without getting rid of these problems, the more trouble he's going to be in. So I really look for him to try to address these as quickly as possible. He hasn't really had the opportunity yet. Actually, if he gets on the right side of the 12 ball, he can go into the 7-6 and go into the 11 and should have several shots, but he would have to be above the 12 slightly and you know, just grazing the 7, and then he's got a lot of options. So that may be asking a lot of your cue ball. What he might have to do here instead is go underneath the 11 and use the 11 to go into the 7-6. But he's attacking the 12 now, so he's got something else in mind. Now he looks like he's going underneath the 11 with inside English and trying to land perfectly on either the 6-14 or the 11. Okay. He had a really good shot there, and now he can draw. If he got the right angle, he can draw into the 6-7 and have the 14 as insurance. If he's off angle, he may be forced to play the 6-14. I think he's so close to being perfect, but I think he came a little too far to where he's on the wrong side of the ball to address the 6. Now, if the 14 goes by the 7, he can follow forward, play the 14, go into the 7-6, playing possession on the 6. Okay, I think he got good on this 6-14. And the 6 may even separate the 4-8. Obviously, he's focusing all attention on pocketing the 14. Steve's taking his time on this combination. This does, I believe, solve all of his problems, though. All right, great shot by Steve. And he's got one final issue, and I think what he'll do is 7-10-4-8 or 7-10-4-6. This is actually ideal because now he won't be on the rail for whichever shot he chooses. He's going a little towards the 8, but he's still fine here. This is a low outside, and by the time he gets to the ball, it turns to stun, and he should be perfect on the 8 or the 6. Now, Steve seems to like the higher break shot if he plays the 6, and he likes the lower break shot if he plays for the... He likes the lower break shot if he plays the 8, and he likes the higher break shot if he plays the 6, or he's choosing it entirely on position of the cue ball. I think Steve likes the higher break shot, so he'll probably swing 2 rails with top inside to the middle of the table for the 8 ball. He could also go low outside with this. But he doesn't want to hit it too fast. And I think he got perfect. A little steeper than he'd like, only because the cue ball is scraping off the rack. So Steve's currently on a 42-ball run. And Haley, my savior, just brought me some warm tea. Amsterdam Billiards always has very high quality service here. Much appreciated. This is a little thinner than a half ball hit. Probably about a tip off the ball. And Steve's going to take his time to make this ball. Problem with this shot is that the cue ball is going into the stack, and he doesn't really have much room to manipulate it. But he's got to focus all attention on pocketing the ball. Good thing is the angle he has with a follow shot, he should be able to get down to the short rail as long as he doesn't get a double kiss into the corner. This is, I believe, a pure follow shot. Okay, now Steve chose to draw out of there, and that meant that Steve read the stack and saw that there was a potential problem. Now, he's got the 13 ball in the corner. He's got the 14 ball, and maybe even the 10 ball on the side. I'm not sure how far down the 7 is, but I kind of like the 10 the side off the 7 if I don't feel good about the 3. Great shot, Steve. Steve came with a very tough shot there. He's got a reasonable shot on the 7 ball or the 6 ball on the side. 7 ball in the corner. Came with a tough 3. Now he's close to the ball, so his aim point should be a little easier to see. And this just shows you why there is no favorite in straight pool. Whoever's at the table is the favorite. Tony could have been up by 148 balls, and Steve at negative 15 or negative 40, and still win the match because of Steve's capabilities in running high runs. I'm glad that we have a good match here. Both players are starting to shine. You know, Steve's doing his business like he's supposed to and running balls here. If you look at the rack, that's a pretty interesting configuration. You have sort of 2 lines with the 14 and 1 and the 9, 11, 5, 12 in the previous ball you just shot down, but a little interesting in the configuration. Steve's pocketing this ball. He could potentially play an underneath the stack break shot with the 12 ball, or he could develop something to be a better break shot. Also, I wouldn't be completely surprised if he didn't use the 15 to the 9 and the 9 ball on the side as a break shot. That's another possibility. But if he goes for the 15 now, then if he's going for the 15 now, then he's not going to do that option. But he might play position for the 5 off the 1 here. Now, to me, it looks like Steve's going to use the 12 ball break shot. So he's going to go 15, 9, 13, 2, 12. Hit that ball a little off perfection. So he's a little off angle on this 9 ball to get ideal on the 13 for the 2. He's going to use top right, I believe. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go 2, 13, 12, even though he's on the other side of the stack. Obviously, being on the left side of the stack with the 12 ball slightly to the right is ideal. However, you have to decide what you're going to do 10 out of 10 times. And he can definitely get on the 13 on the correct side of the 12. And by that I mean underneath the 12 for the break shot. Now, Steve was able to maintain position to the 2, and he'll stay underneath the 12, and he's on the correct side of the 12 to make this very powerful break shot. So a quality run, quality pattern by Steve. Kenny, hey bud, thanks for watching, man. Guys, a lot of you are watching this match. We greatly appreciate it. We're here live at Amsterdam Billiards. You're watching Steve Lipsky on a current run of 56 balls with a good break shot. And Tony Robles' high run so far is a 40-ball run. And the match has been a little seesaw here. Tony had a very strong lead and commanding performance. And now Steve has returned to his normal form and doing the same thing back, and within 9 balls of catching up to Steve. And this I like to use top outside, only because I have a good angle where I feel like I can get to the rail and spin it out. Steve also chose that option. Sometimes if you're a little thicker on the ball, or a little above the ball, then you'd use top inside. But since he was a little underneath, he could use outside, which I think favors pocketing the ball, and you don't really have to compensate for the inside English. Thank you. Steve's going to play position on the 11 and make this a half-table game, and probably get rid of the 13. At the moment, there's no real value in that ball. Unless he creates something and could use it as a key ball. But I think he's going to go ahead and eliminate the 13 as well. And he double-crossed me a little because he hasn't decided what he's going to use as a break shot. So I might have played this a little risky and played position for the 4, gone into that 9 and 10, assuming that I have a shot in the 6 or something. Let's see what Steve decides, or how he decides to attack this. Yeah, he is going to use the 4. If I just hit the 9, I might get in a little trouble, but if I can draw it in between the 9 and 10, I think there's a lot of reward. A very low risk of getting stuck or not having a shot. And I really think he's going to have either the 3 or the 7. And just like that, you see he does have the 3 and the 7. So the 2 balls that I picked were the 2 balls he had. Now he has the 10 balls of break shot and the 1 or 2 balls of break shot. I personally like the 6 ball as my key ball, or the 15 ball as my key ball. Again, I don't like the 13 too much because it's so far to the left of the 10. Now, if I see the run correctly, then I like going 7. I wish that 6 wasn't there myself, because I would go 7, 13, 1, 2, 15. And I would try to sort of arrange that. So I might go 7, 6 if I have a choice. Now I think what Steve's going to do is go 2, 1, 13, 15, 6. All right, the 15 goes by the 6. I didn't realize that, and it changed the ball game. He's going to go 15, 6, 13. He will make sure he gets closer to the center of the table on the 13 to the 10. So he'll want to get as straight on the 13 as possible so he can get the cue ball back towards the middle of the table. He doesn't want to be so far to the left. I just noticed Steve did take the lead. We got Richard Lupre. Richard was my nemesis in 9-ball for a long time. It's good to see you, Richard. Hope you're doing well. A good player from Amsterdam Billiards. Ooh, so he's going to use the 13 ball as his break shot, and he's just going to play into the stack off the 6. So interesting. I wasn't expecting that, but well played by Steve. He got in the stack, actually froze on the spot, and he'll use the 13 ball as his break shot. Now, here's the famous comedian here right now, Tom Ryan. Just stopped by to say hello. He plays out of our league on Monday nights. If you guys are into comedy, you should go check out Tom Ryan. Hilarious comedian. Right now we're watching Steve Lipsky. Now the 13 ball, the problem with the 13 ball is that sometimes you scratch off the stack using the 13 ball as your break shot. Now Steve is one of the best guys I know at making this ball and not having any issues. And I think what he does, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but he'll hit this with a thinner hit and use a maximum draw. So when he goes into the stack, he'll draw it. Now, in this particular case, he might actually go underneath and play for the 15, and that eliminates all possibility of scratching. And this is a top or center outside. And I just can't see exactly where the 13 is. Okay, so he went right into the side with draw. And Steve hits that so well. And almost always ends up with a great result. He's got the 11 or the 6. Like I said, a lot of guys get a little funny on that shot and scratch. And as you can see, after that last track, Lipsky has taken the lead. And really, Tony dominated the beginning of this match, and Steve Lipsky has dominated the second half. And back in the day, we used to watch Danny Berruti and Steve play a lot, and they would have some crazy matches where both players would run 100 balls, and the player that ran 100 first didn't necessarily win. Guys, thanks for your support. I really appreciate the comments. If anyone ever has advice of that sort with the commentary, I'm always up to hear how to be better at it. I am obviously a player first, a commentator second, and actually should say family man first, a commentator second, well, no, I'm getting it all mixed up. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. But Steve's here, really, really shining. He's got this 15 ball, and that solves the 13 problem. 7 ball's probably his break shot. So I suspect he'll use either the 1 or the 3 ball as his key ball. And the 9 is in the stack, guys, so the 9's not a potential break shot. I do believe he's going to use the 1 ball. It looks like he's a little off angle on the 6, so he's going to play the 3, play the 6 and the 8, the 9, and then the 1 in the side. And the 9, he'll want to be slightly below the 1 so he can just follow up. Double J is a great commentator, and I had the good fortune of doing some commentary with him. Now what he could do is play above the 7 and the 1 and play the 1 in the corner for position. And I think that's a little safer with the position he had. So he'll just stun over to the left rail and come out and use the rail to sort of slow him down. Someone asked if Lipsky only plays 14 and 1, and that is not true. Steve is a very fine pool player in general. Plays a lot of rotation, 8 ball, and straight pool. I'm not sure if he plays 1 pocket, but He's known in this area sort of as a mentor to a lot of the straight pull players because he does love straight pull. And him, Danny, and myself, Jimmy Gautier, who just opened up a room in Richmond, Virginia. Also opened up a high-end golf course, indoor golf course establishment as well. If you guys are in that area, please check that out. But Steve is known as being a phenomenal straight pull player, but he's a very high-quality 9-ball and 10-ball player, as well as 8-ball player, and just a good all-around player. This shot, Steve has options. He can play with follow or draw. He's going to look at where he's hitting the stack and sort of decide whether he wants to power through a follow or do a power draw and go back to the middle and back out. And almost got a bit of a bad roll, but he ended up okay there. He's got the 13. He can play position on the 12 or the 1. Basically, probably just try to get to the middle of the table. He's got lots of options. 8-ball, 12, or the 1. He might have found the window between the 15 and 9 for the 1-ball. If he did, he'll take that first because that blocks the pocket for the 9 and 15, and it gives him shape on the 11-ball. Now with this 11-ball, since he doesn't have insurance, he left himself angle where he has a lot of energy on the cue, and now he can plow through it. And in that scenario, when you don't have a choice, you get the angle that gives you a lot of energy on the cue, so you can just plow through it, and he's almost guaranteed a new key ball or a shot after. The indoor golf course is it's sort of a interesting scenario, but just look at Greenleafs. And that's the name of the pool room in Richmond, and you can check out that. And next to the Greenleafs pool room, he opened up an indoor mini golf course, exactly right. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun and attract a lot of customers to both venues. Jimmy always does things with a high-class mark, and I think it'll be highly entertaining and enjoyable. Anyway, back to the match. Steve's got a big problem with the 2-ball. And a minor problem with the 14 ball, and probably the 4 ball will be his break shot. I suspect he's going to play the 5 and then use the 10 to go into the 2, or the 4 to go into the 2. Okay, he just missed that. He's got a little more relief with the 5 ball he can use to go into it as well. He might go 6, 5, 10 and use the 10 ball to go into it. If he does a stop shot in the 6, he can play position above the 5, get underneath the 10, and then use the 10 to go into it. Guys, currently we're in New York City, Amsterdam Billiards. The room I was talking about, a friend of mine, is in Greenleafs, is Richmond, Virginia. So anyone in the Richmond area, Virginia, please go check out Jim's place. He's a good guy. Has a fine pool hall, and recently opened up a mini golf course next to the pool hall. This 2-ball is causing immense problems for Steve, and he's got to solve it as quickly as possible. He's losing material to attack that problem, and he's looking like he's going to have to shoot his break shot to continue his run. Maybe he can see the 5 ball and go into it. I'm not sure. If he can see the 5, he might play position on the 3 and then use that to play proper position on the 10 to go into it. Maybe, just maybe, he could use the 6 off the 2 in the side. I'm not sure.
Has Steve been running from when he was 36 when I went by before?
He's on 93. He's on 93.
So Tony's still at 106.
Yeah, he's going to use the 10 to go into this 2-ball, and that should solve his problem. And he hit it just enough to make his world unpleasant again. He can use the 6-ball now to get on the 3-ball. I think he's going to go 6, 9, 2, 3. I think the 2 goes in the side now. Although this isn't ideal, it's much better than he had before. So he'll use the 2 to get back to the 3-ball and use the 3 balls as key ball. And he just doesn't want to be straight on this. He wants a little angle. And if he can get underneath the 3, I think he can just go to the rail above the 15 and have perfect position for his break shots. He's just going to draw this underneath. Yeah, he's able to get underneath the 3. Now he can just float up to the long rail, and he should have good shape on the 15. Now, if he got too thin, he'll go 3 rails here, sort of like Tony did earlier. Guys, the previous match was actually between Sean Morgan, one of our house pros, and Zion's V. He did have to use the 3 rail route and got perfect shape. Danny Berruti calls that the Lipsky doodle. But I've actually seen Mika do that shot a lot, and I've actually picked it up as part of my arsenal. It's just a good shot to have for 9-ball or for straight pull when you have a thin cut like Steve had on the 3. Steve's currently on a run of 98 balls, guys, and if he pockets his 15, he looks to have some more shots. We should have over a 100-ball run. And currently watching the great Steve Lipsky put on a clinic in pattern play and negotiating very difficult outs to maintain his run. And just had to force that 15 ball too much to try to continue. Steve ended his run at 98. Quality shooting by Steve. And we're going to take a brief break, guys, and we'll be right back. I'm going to break with them.
That's it?
Yeah. That's far behind me.
Am I on camera right now?
If you switch that, then you can camera. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I put the comments.
Disgusting. Who are you playing for?
Sean.
Sean did me a favor today by beating Zion. Because he beat Zion, I won the division. He's going to have to play Tim Edmonds, and then if I beat Tim Edmonds, I probably have to.
All right, so guys, I'm back here briefly. I'm going to do a couple of quick announcements. I'll do a quick thanks to Amsterdam Billiards for providing a place for Steve and Tony and a lot of us to play quality pool against quality competition. This is definitely the greatest straight pool league I've ever seen. Likes of Danny Berruti, Mika Ebden, Tony Robles, Lipsky, a lot of great players that come through here and played in this league. Del Sim, who's not here today, probably had a bye today. Just a pleasure to be here. You got great guys like Bob Coates, Alex Masucci, come regular through here. Just a lot of fun guys, and it's just a pleasure to be here, providing some commentary for a great match. Sorry, just looking at some numbers, guys. Anyway, it looks like Tony's been pretty consistent this match with 40, 28, 23, 17's okay. Steve was struggling a little bit in the beginning, and Tony was punishing him for his struggles. Steve's currently missed 5 balls. Tony's missed 3. So it looks like we've had a 8-inning or 9-inning match as of so far. Good playing by both players, though. As you can see, sometimes you start out a little slow, and then all of a sudden you'll catch a gear and run 100, like Steve can show us. Great shooting by both players. As soon as Tony gets back here, we'll recommence in the match. I'll do a quick shout out to Jacoby Custom Cues, Predator shafts, and Kamui equipment, chalk and tips. I'm also going to do a quick shout out to Ira Lee and his High Rock store. High Rock store, also www.3cushioncues.com. A good place to see some stuff that's available through High Rock. Eastern State Championship is coming up August 31st through the 2nd, and the NYC 8-Ball Championship October 19th through the 20th. Tony will be doing a couple critical matches here with Kevin Clark and Earl Strickland. The Earl Strickland match should be October 25th, and he'll be doing a straight pull clinic this Friday, September 6th.
Your run was 98, you know, right?
Yeah.
Steve was just wondering a couple things. What would you ask, Steve?
I mean, to be honest, it's probably not an appropriate question in the middle of the match, but as soon as the match is over, I'm very curious if I missed that shot by undercutting or overcutting.
I wasn't looking.
I'm pretty sure it had to be undercut because it must have hit the short point and then the long point to get back to the position where it's at. I don't see how he could have got it there unless there was a double kiss. But it's a good question to ask because we do always want to know as a good player, something that sort of defines a good player is they're always trying to figure out what they did wrong so they can fix it and move forward. But yeah, I'm not sure how Steve made that match or how Steve missed that last ball. Oh, hey guys. I'm here with Pascal. Pascal, come over here. Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. As you can see, we both, well, I have a face for radio, so back behind the scenes here, I'll do some more talking. It does look like Steve. Yeah, we're all ready. It does look like Steve got a little fortunate in his miss and didn't leave Tony a very easy shot. Tony could play a safe off the 7, freezing the cue ball on the 3, or he could play the 5 ball up table. The 13 bank might even be a possibility, but I don't see anything that's a hanger for sure. So Tony's got to come with a shot. His first inning. Current score, guys, 137 to 106. Steve almost ran out. Needing only 13 balls to close out the rack. Tony needs 44. We are doing a race to 150. I think Tony's going to try to come with this 5 ball, which is pretty impressive even to try to take on. Not guaranteed position after making the ball. That's what makes it tougher to shoot. If he does make the ball, he's got to go forward enough to have position on the 13. And it's just not a high percentage shot to start out with. I almost like the 13 bank more than anything else, even though it's a back bank, which means you're putting right English on the 13. You got to judge it right. But at least you're probably going to get a shot. You know, you hit the 6, you're probably going to have shape on the 6 or the 9. But if he doesn't like anything, he could, like I said, hit the 7, draw the cue ball back to where it is now. It's kind of a nip shot, and challenge Steve with the 5 ball. He could also just roll up on the 3 now and probably not foul. My friend Jim Gautier, who I was mentioning his pool room earlier, has a really nice way of hitting a 3 and not having anything move. It's kind of a fun little shot, but Maybe we can show you that later. Anyway, let's see what Tony decides here. Of all the shots, I think the 13 is the highest percentage to make, only because you'd be very unlucky not to have shape after, not to have a shot after. Yeah, I think Tony decided on the bank. And like I said, I think he's going into the 6, and he should have a shot on either the 9 or the 6 after. Be very unlucky not to have a shot. Over to the left, we got Carlos Luna warming up for his next match. Good guy, great player, good player. But he's waiting on probably one of these guys to finish for another match. All right, so the 13 ball he was able to make, and got position on the 6. Great shot by Tony. And both guys well within the kill zone of running out the rack, or the set. What a great match, huh? We had a very strong performance from Tony early on, and then Steve comes right back and gets back in this match. While Tony's analyzing some stuff, I think the 7-3 is very makeable, but while Tony's analyzing, I'm going to do a couple quick shouts out to a couple of my friends. Looks like he's playing the dead 2 ball. He'll hit this with follow, and that opened up the rack nicely. But a quick shout out to Mitch Ellerman. He's a good coach and player out of Las Vegas. If anyone's in the area and looking for lessons, I highly recommend getting a lesson with Mitch Ellerman. Another good guy up in the Vegas area is Max Everly, who's also a very good straight pool player. He also provides lessons in the Las Vegas area. Back to the match. Looks like Tony's going to play the 11, play position on the 3-7 combination, get rid of that problem, follow up a little bit for the 12, and should be able to pretty much plan out the whole rack after getting rid of these last 3 problems. Now he's drawing the ball. I would actually follow this, but he's able to draw it and maintain position on the 3. Looks like 3-12. The good thing about having the 12 after is I'll have angle on the 12 to get back towards the middle of the table if you'd like. You don't want to get stuck underneath the rack at this point. You kind of want to eliminate everything from above. So I personally would take the 3, the 12, and then the 8 out. And it looks to me like the 10 to the 15 is probably the best key ball to break ball scenario. You could also use the 6 ball as a key ball to the 15. Tony Robles is sponsored by Predator and runs the Predator Tour out of the New York City, New Jersey, tri-state area. Looks like Tony's going to play the 5, and then the 8. The 4 ball actually leads to the 14 nicely, but or the 10 if he gets rid of the 14. But I like 5, 8. Come back to the middle of the table, getting rid of the 14. Maybe playing position for the 4, 9, 6, 10. and using the 10 as my pivotal ball. I really like the 10 ball position for my key ball. Now, it looks like he landed straight on the 14, so he might just take the 14 out now. He might go 14-4. That 4 is a little bit of a nuisance if you're not going to use it to get on the 10. So he might go 14-4. That ball just skid horribly on him. Now, talking about skids, I gotta bring up another great player that I'm very familiar with, and that's John Schmidt, who also gives lessons and is probably regarded as one of the greatest straight pool players to ever live. But he's very conscious of the ball situations, meaning he likes to clean the balls regularly. He likes to use polish to make sure that the balls react the same way every time. He likes very specific playing conditions because he knows that if he doesn't have to deal with a skid and doesn't have to deal with potential table issues, that he's going to run a lot of balls. And as you can see, Tony's going to go 9-6-15. He just wants angle on the 6 so that he can come out probably parallel to the 15 ball rail. He got a little thick, but he's got options here. He could follow up for the 15 on the side, or he can pop it out with center right and get back to the middle of the table. Tony will decide whether he's going to use the side pocket break or the corner break shortly. But I actually like using the side pocket from here just because I don't have to do anything with the cue. But it looks like Tony's going to try to pop the cue ball back out. Must have a little more angle than I thought. Now that scenario where Tony just jarred that ball is likely to cost him, but he is a little fortunate because the 6 ball is not in an ideal breaking position. Steve's going to have to get an angle, basically a three-quarter ball hit to where he can go into the back of the stack off the 6. He'll want to be pretty close to the stack and basically a diamond off the rail. This is a tricky little shot. And Steve is about a diamond from the rail and got it pretty close to the stack. They should be able to clip the corner balls on this. And just like that, Tony trying to force that position when he was stretching, I think cost him that 6 ball. And Steve's racking up, getting ready to put the rest of these balls down. I believe Steve's within 12 balls now. So he'll need 11 balls after he hits the 6 ball. Again, he is going to try to hit the 9 or the 5. Steve, what's the score? Perfect, thank you. Hey guys, the score is correct. It's 138 to 119. And this is a low outside, and I believe he's trying to hit the 9-5. And Steve just hit that perfectly. He couldn't have hit that any better. He might have a shot in the 15 in the side. If he does, he'll probably go into the stack off the 15. And should have some action. He's checking to see if the 1-5 is wired because that's a little safer. If he can play the 1-5 combination somehow, that could make things a little bit exciting. Looks like he has to play the 15 the side though. And this is a very makeable shot for Steve. And from here, the rack should open up and he should have all the balls he needs to finish the run. I clipped the 3 ball on the way in, so the 3 ball slightly blocked him. And Steve's now within 11 balls of winning, and Tony Robles needs 41. No, sorry, 31.
Yeah, walk around the West. This sounds great. Young guy.
Little unfortunate for Steve not to have a better shot after hitting that 6-ball so well. Hit that break shot with low outside, hit the back two balls, clipping them with low outside, and just barely got an unfortunate roll where he didn't have an easy shot. Might have hit it a hair too hard, which caused the congestion, but he was playing that with those balls in mind, because I'm sure we've all ran into that quite a few times. And just a little bit of a rough situation for Steve to be in after that shot. I'm not sure. I think Tony has the 5-ball. He may have the 3-ball as well. Looks like he has the 3, so he'll probably play. Well, I don't know. I kind of like addressing the 5 now myself. If 5 goes, he's playing the 5. It's a second skid, and Tony conceded with the skid. And Tony conceded the match. Final score is 150 to 121. Both players played really well. And glad to see such quality pool. Special thanks to Jacoby Custom Cues again, Predator Products, Kamui, Steve Lipsky plays with the Shown Q. Anyone interested in that? I believe Danny Baruti is a dealer for them. Please reach out to Danny Baruti. Guys, wonderful match. Thanks again to Amsterdam Billiards for having such great players.
So bad, you were like I was trying to bank it. I wanted to thank you guys, man. That was awesome. What do you do? You
Great
run
shit,
at
Tony.
103? 103?
98.
I thought it was 103. I thought you needed like 116 when he started the run. I think it might have been 103. I don't know, maybe. I saw he needed 116. I said, wow, it would be nice if he ran 116 now. And when he finished, he needed 13.
Right.
So I figured it was 103.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We'll know. Yeah, thank you, Tony. Guys, just a couple other quick things. Like I said, Tony is doing a couple exhibitions coming up. He's doing one charity event with Kevin Clark. Kevin's a good friend of mine. Him and Kevin are doing a charity match. Please check out Tony's Facebook page or Kevin's Facebook page to find out when that'll be commencing. He's playing a match with Earl the Pearl Strickland, October 25th. Earl just took second in Turning Stone, so that should be an exciting match. There is a couple of other critical things coming up here. The Eastern State Championship is this weekend, August 31st through the 2nd. The New York City 8-Ball Championship, October 19th and the 20th. Again, the exhibition match with Robles and Earl is October 25th. He has a straight pull clinic coming up Friday, September 6th. And again, special thanks to Steve Lipsky and his family. A little shout out to Gina Kim and Olivia. I hope they're watching at home and saw Steve's great performance. Guys, if you're interested in any billiard product or pool products, please check out www.3cushioncues.com. That's High Rock Store, Ira Lee's company. Check that out, guys. A lot of good stuff. I'm signing out now.
Thanks again, for
thanks again, Pascal. Thanks, Amsterdam Billiards. Thanks, Steve Lipsky and Tony Robles.
Thanks to you guys for actually doing this every week.
Want to say anything to the lovely people outside?
I do have to run, but
All right.
I will be playing on Saturday at noon. I don't know that we'll be able to put that match on. With Dell. Yeah, that's fine. But I need to make up 2 matches because otherwise I won't make the playoffs. So I have the one with Dell, and then I have one more, I hope. If not, I'm out of the playoffs.
You should have had those happen, Steve. Nah. Love you, Steve. See you soon. Guys, I'm signing out. Thanks, Pascal. Thanks, everyone, for sweating the match. Hopefully we'll be again soon. We'll be in here again soon. Thanks, Ray Kant and Amsterdam Billiards. Take care, guys.
Wait, so I'm curious.